going on, everybody? It's your favorite nutritionist, John Kowaleski, back with another video. In this one, we're talking about the pitfalls of eating too little and how tracking what you eat throughout the day can really help with that. If this is your first visit, please consider subscribing. And while you're at it, make sure that you click that bell so that way you get notified when we upload new content. Now, let's dive right in. One term that is frequently misunderstood when it comes to losing weight is the caloric deficit. In order to lose weight, you need to be burning more calories than you're taking in. This way, your body is forced to break down stored energy to make up for the lack of food intake. So how large of a deficit should you use? A good rule of thumb is 300 to 500 calories below your TDEE, or your total daily energy expenditure. Now, there are several good TDEE calculators that you can find online, and I'll link the one that I use most often in the description below. So you use these calculators and you figure out what your total daily energy expenditure is. At that point, you subtract the 300 to 500 calories, and then you have a baseline of how many calories you should be taking in a day. Then you need to break things down as to how much protein, how much carbohydrates, and how much fat you need to take in, but we can discuss all that in another video. What I want to do in this particular video is highlight two different apps that you can use to track calories, so that way you have a better indicator going throughout the day that you're getting in the calories that you need to get in. Okay, so let's get into looking at the two different macro tracking apps that I'm going to cover in this video. The first one is MyFitnessPal. It seems to be the most popular. I used MyFitnessPal for a number of years before I found the one that I use now, which is Carb Manager, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. But because I don't use MyFitnessPal anymore, I figured let's go ahead and cover actually setting up an account with MyFitnessPal during this whole process. So already in step 2 of 4 here, and we'll just go ahead and put my information in. I am much taller than 5'7". Okay. Let's just say 240 pounds, which is pushing it because I'm a big guy. Date of birth. Yeah, we'll put the actual stuff in here so you guys will actually find out how old I am. I am older than dirt, I tell you, folks. Older than dirt. Okay, so let's see. There we go. Okay, in the United States. Yep, you guys will be able to find me. You know my zip code now. Oh my goodness. All right. So currently, due to my physical condition with my legs, I'm going to say that I'm lightly active. Right now, I'm working out 3 days a week. Definitely want to track it. It's interesting that you can actually track in kilojoules if you prefer, if you're big into the metric system. So there you go. Lose 2 pounds a week. Yeah, that'd be great. All right, so let's go ahead and click the sign up button. Oh, more stuff. Okay, so send me the latest news. Sure, why not? Enter the email address of 5 friends below. I do not think so. All right, so let's click continue. Wow. See, this is why I prefer paid versions of these apps versus just using the free versions, and this right here is a good reason why. I'm currently eating, if I remember correctly, it's like about 2,800 calories, between 26 and 28. This has got me at a much bigger deficit than what I should be at. And the thing is, the current calories that I'm eating already has me at a 500 calorie deficit from my caloric maintenance base. Okay. For, which is, you come across that by figuring out what your total daily energy expenditure is and then subtracting 300 to 500 calories from there, just depending on how comfortable you are with how low your deficit goes. So that's kind of crazy 2,000 calories. But anyway, let's get started. All right. So as you can see, when you log in here, you have a number of different things that you can set up. Obviously, you're going to add your food here based on what you're having for breakfast. Let's just say I'm going to have eggs. I eat a lot of eggs. So we'll click the search button. And now what I do remember about MyFitnessPal is the fact that anything you see with a check mark beside it has been verified. The thing that I like about other apps compared to this one is this one actually allows members or customers to put in individual food items and their macronutrients. And that to me is okay, I guess, to help like increase the database. But if you are selecting something that's not verified, you don't know for sure if that information is accurate. So when you get in here, you're always going to want to pick something with a green check mark. Okay, there's no way that I eat just one egg. Yeah, I'm going to eat about 8 of them. All right, so we'll add that to my diary. And as you can see, it adds everything up. I will never understand why they say that eggs have carbohydrates in them. I just don't get it. I don't think they do. I don't think that they actually have 1 gram of sugar in an egg. I don't know how that's possible. Okay, but anyway, so I added my breakfast in 8 large eggs, and as you can see, it totaled everything up and it subtracted everything from my daily goals, and it tells me how much that I have left. Okay, so you would simply go down through the same thing for lunch, dinner, and any snacks that you may have. If I remember correctly, the paid version of this allows you to add up to 2 more meals for 6 meals a day for you folks that like to eat every 2 to 3 hours, which isn't a bad thing. I did that for a lot of years. Okay, so obviously you have your food diary. They have a database here where you can go in and you can just search for foods. And when you select the foods here, it'll give you all of the nutrient information. Again, folks, I highly suggest that you select things with the green check mark. They have a place for you to track your exercise. I know they do have a database of exercises, and there's also a place where you can add specific exercises that you like to use. You can even create an exercise if you can't find it in your database. As with most apps, they have a report section. The paid version is much more detailed as far as that goes. This is new since I've used it. I'm not sure. Oh, these are different apps that you can actually use in conjunction with MyFitnessPal. This is new since I've used it, so that's interesting. That's definitely interesting there. The community section, that's new as well. Okay, so actually, it's almost like a forum, or they have blogs, they have forum, message boards, things of that nature, places where you can connect with other people. I mean, we live in a social world, folks, and we're always connecting with people all over the world. So this is just one more way that you can connect with people that are like-minded, that are trying to lose weight, build muscle, whatever the case may be. So let's jump back over to the app here. Okay. So obviously they have the community, the blog. They are partnered with Under Armour, so you can actually shop stuff right through the app. Let's look at what their premium offers. Okay, upgrading to premium. So as you can see, for free, you get the daily calorie goal, custom carbs, fats, and proteins. So you can actually go in on the free. That's new. It didn't used to be that way. Now you can actually go in and set custom carbs, fats, and protein goals. Quick adding calories. Okay, so the nutrient dashboard, food analysis, file export. Yeah, I thought that was something that you had to have premium for in order to export all that out so you can send it to a coach. Calorie goals by meal, different goals by day. Yep, you gotta have a paid membership for that. Exercise calorie settings. Decide whether to increase daily goals when you exercise. Okay, let's talk about that for a second, folks. Most of these apps have a place where you can track your exercise. Now, I've never used it in Carb Manager, which is the other app that I'm going to show you guys because it's the one that I use now. But I did use it somewhat with MyFitnessPal when I was using it. And what I found is that while it is relatively accurate, people have a tendency to fall into a trap by using this feature. Okay. What happens is, say you are at a calorie goal of 2,700 calories. Okay. Now, you have all your food logged in for the day and you are right at or below your goal. So you had a real good day. A real good day. You stayed true to your macros and you got the nutrients in that you needed. And then at the end of the day, you sit back and you add in your exercise. Okay, I went to the gym and I did a half hour of cardio and then I lifted weights for another 35, 45 minutes. Okay, when you add that in there, the application automatically subtracts supposed burnt calories from your total goal from the day. So what winds up happening is after you track your exercise, you look at your daily log and you're like, oh, well, I've got 500 more calories that I can eat because it subtracted the calories that you supposedly burnt during your exercise from your daily goal. And what people wind up doing is, well, I've got extra calories, so that means I can have another meal. I can do this. I can do that. That is a really bad plan, folks, especially if you're trying to lose weight. Now, if you're trying to gain muscle, if you want to eat a little more, depending on, what it is you're eating, if you're eating quality fats and proteins, then that's okay. But to just say, well, I exercise, so I got 500 free calories that I can just eat, I can eat extra. I can have an extra meal. I can have an extra piece of cake. I can do this. I can do that. It's a really bad plan, folks. Just don't do it. It's okay to track your exercise with this app if that's what you want to do. If you don't want to have multiple apps. However, there are plenty of good apps out there that you can use, both free and paid versions, to track your exercise, which is also important. It's just as important as tracking macronutrients. So, use those apps, or if you're going to use this feature on MyFitnessPal, make sure that you don't fall into that trap where you're like, oh, I worked out, so I've got free food. I can eat more food. Don't do it, guys, because it's just not going to help you in the end. Really not. Let's see, what else? Meal level carbs, protein, and fat. So view macronutrients by gram or percentage in your diary. Yeah, that is something you're going to see a lot of this stuff. If you'll see, there's a lot of things, and each one of these things, as you go down through, they're talking about carbs. Carbs are a really, really hot topic in the health and fitness world right now because of the fact that the ketogenic diet has become so prevalent. Because there's a lot of benefits to it. Is it for everyone? No, it's not. No diet is for everyone. Everybody has specific needs. Everybody has, their own little identifying or limiting factors that will determine what kind of diet that they use. But carbs are a hot topic in fitness right now. The ability to play around with your carbohydrate intake can actually make a big difference in your goals as far as to whether or not you're going to be trying to lose weight or gain muscle, depending on what it is that you're trying to do. Adjusting carb intake can be can be really integral in what it is that you're trying to achieve with your fitness goals. And I actually just did a podcast in the Dad Bod Transformation Group with a fellow resident coach there, Philip Bowman, about carb cycling and how bodybuilders have used it for years to build muscle and to lean out to get to lose body fat in preparation for a competition. And I also discussed how carb cycling is very close to some of the um, variants of the ketogenic protocol, which like targeted ketogenics and the cyclical ketogenic diet. So make sure you guys check that video out on their YouTube channel. Um, just look for Dad Bod Transformations on YouTube and you'll find them. And that episode's right there. So, all right, that pretty much takes care of my Fitness Pal. As you can see, they do have a lot of features, both paid and free. Um, the bottom line is this, guys. It doesn't matter whether you use MyFitnessPal, Carb Manager, or any of the other apps that are out there for tracking macros. I don't care if you use a legal pad and a pen. You need to be tracking what you're eating because so many times people wind up not getting enough food. And when they're not getting enough food, their metabolism suffers. And when your metabolism suffers and slows down, you start to gain weight. You start to store body fat. If you're enjoying this video so far, please make sure that you hit that like button so that way I know you liked it and other people will too. Okay, so now we'll take a look at Carb Manager, which is the app that I actually use. Carb Manager was originally designed for people that want to use a ketogenic diet protocol. So it focuses on carbs, net carbs specifically. However, it is incredibly diverse in its ability to track macronutrients no matter what diet plan you're on. So let's go ahead and get logged in. And this is what you see when you first logged in. Now, keep in mind, there are two different versions of this particular app. And while they look about the same when you log in, some of the features are not available in the free version, such as the recipes and meal plans, the meal planner. Some of the analysis tools are not available in the free version. But guys, this app is $3.33 a month if you pay for it for a year. So it is absolutely worth the cost of that without a doubt. So you get in here and you can actually, once you get signed up with this app, you can go in and you can actually control all of this different stuff. Now, some of the things being able to do, I'm trying to remember, I bought this thing right from the get-go because I was a paid member of MyFitnessPal when I used it, so I don't exactly remember. But from what I can remember, you go to the macro screen here, and this particular portion right here, if you are a free member, you don't have the ability to go in here and adjust these individually. What you do is there's some stuff up here at the top that you fill out your profile, which has all this stuff in here, what your starting weight is, what your current weight is, all this different thing, and it will generate some macros for you. The paid version will allow you to go in here and set specific macros. You can even change the macros from day to day by, as you can see, these particular macros, I can set these macros for just Monday, Wednesday, and Friday if those are my workout days. And then I can come back in here, adjust these macros to different levels, and then set them for days that I don't train. Something else, as you can see here, this is available in the premium version, the smart macros that automatically adjust the macro goals as your weight changes. So when you go in here and as you lose weight, you track the fact that you're losing weight and it's automatically going to adjust your macros. And if you don't like the way that it adjusts them, you can always come back in and tweak things here or there. And that feature is also, you can turn that on and off right here. Okay, so let's get into this and show you the part that's the same whether or not you are on a free plan or a paid plan. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I know what I'm going to be eating for my meals today. So I'm going to go ahead and track that right now. As you'll look here, you don't see a lot of vegetables in like my recently viewed or my frequently things eaten, stuff like that. And that's because I am on a ketogenic protocol and I'm practically carnivore. I eat very few carbohydrates whatsoever, or not carbohydrates, but vegetables whatsoever. I eat some nuts. Occasionally, I eat cucumbers or pickles, things of that nature, but that's about it. Okay, so my first meal is going to be 8 ounces of pork loin. So obviously you can adjust your numbers here, and it gives you the ability to pick out, different measurements of what it is that you're going to be eating. Obviously, I use my scale and I just measure ounces. Okay, so we'll select that, and then when you go back here and look at my daily log, there it is, 8 ounces of pork loin. Tells me how many net carbs, which obviously there's none in pork, how much fat, how much protein, net calories, and then it adds it to my daily log view up here. Okay, so the second meal that I'm going to have is I'm going to have my chocolate peanut butter shake. And this is important to realize too, guys, that when you actually go in here and you start building out this app, okay, like this particular shake right here, there's a couple different ways I make my shakes, but this one here, I went in one day and in the daily log over here in this area, I added each individual item, the 1 cup of almond milk, the 2 different protein powders, and then the liquid egg whites. Okay. So I went in there and I added all that. But then when I got to my ingredients, and let me add the other thing that I'm going to have for that meal, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to eat 2 ounces of almonds, which is a pretty standard serving for me. So as you can see, when I brought up the almonds, it brings up that standard serving of 2 ounces. Sometimes you may have to adjust that when you're first getting everything set up, but then the app learns what you eat on a regular basis and it'll fill that information in for you. So we added that. And now let's go back here to this tab right here. Now, I could either add more food. As you can see, I can add glucose reading, ketones, insulin if I was an insulin dependent diabetic, which I am not. Notes, photos, all this different type of stuff. Here's the thing that I wanted to show you, the create the meal tab. So once you put in a bunch of different things that are going to make up a meal, like I did with that protein shake, you can click that tab and you can come over here and you can give it a name. Okay. And you can, if it was 1 serving, 2 servings, this works real good for if you like, for example, I make a ketogenic mousse, which is how I make it is I'll take 2 scoops of protein powder and I'll take a cup of heavy cream and I'll put that in a bowl and I'll mix it up until it becomes a mousse like consistency. It's really thick, almost like a real thick pudding. Okay. So now I can put all that information in here and then I can break it out I can change it to a half a serving, a whole serving, whatever the case may be. And then I can save all that information. And then when I want to go, click the wrong button. Then when I want to go back in to add something, I can there add foods and I can go to my foods and I can actually show, well, here's the shake that I'm adding. And as you can see, there it is. Now what you would do is if you put all of the stuff together and add that meal, and then if you're only going to eat half of what that yielded, then you would just set this to 0 here. Okay, and then you would come over here and select half a serving. Okay, and you would do things that way. So that's how that works. Let's see what else. But as you can see, it keeps a running total of what it is that you are eating. As you can see, I added the protein shake and the almonds that I'm going to have for my second meal today. And it has kept a running total of the protein, the fats, and the carbohydrates. Okay, so let's go ahead and add my third meal for today, which will be, let's see, will be this, and we have Yeah, I eat a lot of steak, guys. I eat a lot of steak, a lot of eye round steak, top sirloin steak, things of that nature. Try to get the best cuts myself, but that's just me because I eat so much of it. And as you can see, that kind of got me real close to my fat goal there, and my protein is still lacking by about 36 grams, but that won't be a problem. Okay. So then at the end of the day, I will have another protein shake. But that one, I think, I'm not sure. Yeah, I didn't save the other protein shake that I make, so we'll use this, and then I'll go in and yeah, I'll just drink this shake. Typically, my second shake of the day doesn't have the peanut butter protein powder in it. It just has the regular protein powder. So, okay. So there you go. You see that I'm actually over my goal of protein, but I'm under my gram of fat or under my goal of fats and way under my gram or my goal of carbohydrates. So for a ketogenic protocol, that works out really, really good. As you can see, I'm not eating many meals a day. Um, I'm eating primarily meat and protein and fats. However, for a ketogenic protocol, this works out really, really well. So that's Carb Manager explained. There are a couple other features that I don't really use, like the reports and stuff like that. If you're into things like that, you can if I remember correctly, you can actually, yeah, you can save it to a PDF format. You can generate it so you can email it to your coach if you're working with a coach, which I highly recommend that you do. While these apps are very, very good at helping you to track what it is that you're eating, and they will make some some basic adjustments to your macros. Like if you're a paid member with this one and you have the smart macros on, there is no substitute for working with a professional, guys. I can't stress that enough. I know that we all lead busy lives and we want to think that we can handle all this stuff ourselves. But at the end of the day, we don't know everything when it comes to, you know, nutrients and how our body works and things like that. Shoot, the professionals, we don't know everything. That's why we're constantly learning. So keep in mind that you need to make sure that you have a little advice when you're setting up your macros. Have a coach that even if you don't have a coach that you work with on a regular basis, someone that you can refer back to, like, okay, you started the diet plan, you went 3 months, you lost 25 pounds, and you don't know what adjustments to make in the food that you're eating, which is something that has to be done. As you lose weight, the numbers that you started off with won't remain the same. So once you lose that weight, you need to have somebody look at what you're doing now, what your numbers are, and you need to make adjustments accordingly. And that's where a coach comes in. So that will take care of my review of Carb Manager. Well, that pretty much does it for this video, guys. I hope you found some value in the content. And if you did, please make sure that you leave a comment and let me know what you thought about the two different apps. And if you use a different app, let me know what you're using. I'll check it out. Maybe I'll do a review of it too. As I said before, if you like what's going on in the channel, please make sure you subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video.